if you're interested in this product, stick around, hit that subscribe button, because I will be installing this on the 2020 Toro time cutter 54-inch here next.
Well, here's a little story about two friends that came together, and we started up a YouTube just to talk about whatever. We're on a boat catching big bass and smashing them cats, from review videos to just making you laugh. Cause we got guns, we got knives, we got fishing, we got hunting, we got everything you like, so hit that subscribe button. We're in the outdoors, doing things that we love. We're talking guitars, girls, green grass, and guns.
Okay, before we get started, you do want to make sure that you have all of the nuts and bolts that are included. Go through the list and make sure they're all in there. You will either want a wrench or a ratchet. Today I'm going to be using a ratchet. You will also need a 3/8 inch, a 9/16 inch, and a 5/8 inch size of wrench or ratchet or socket to assemble all of this. Now, everything that you take off of here, you do want to keep a hold of, because you will be reinstalling those as you're putting the bagger on here. Okay, to start off with, we will be using our 3/8 inch, and we will be removing this black screw and this black screw, and this will be repeated on the other side. You will want to retain all of these screws that you take out. Let's move on to the next step. Now, along with removing the two screws from each side, you will want to remove the inner guard. You will want to retain these again. Now, once you remove that guard, go ahead and clean out this rail that is behind here, because this holds a whole bunch of grass clippings that have never been blown off, and leaves and whatnot. All right, next you're going to want to secure all the parts that are going to be in this next step. You're going to have your right mounting bracket, your left mounting bracket. You will have two 2 3/4 bolts. You will have 4 1-inch bolts, 2 washers, and 6 locking lock nuts. Now, I have a mower lifted up for your visual aid. On this piece, you will need 2 ratchets or 2 wrenches, both of them being 9/16. On each side, you will need 2 1-inch bolts, along with 2 lock nut washers. Now, when installing this, we're going to be installing the right side first. Now, this is something that I wish that they would at least put a sticker on stating which side is left and right, but in your instruction manual, these are very well depicted, and this is going to be your right side. So first, we're going to take our right hand piece, and we're going to put it on the bottom of the frame here. You can see these 2 little notches right here. This will fit up in there. The main pieces that you're going to be looking for are these 2 larger holes. You're going to want to line those 2 larger holes up with the 2 larger holes on the bottom of the frame. Once you get those there, you're going to want to stick 1 1-inch nut up through the bottom, and then you're going to want to secure 1 nut on top of that. Now, this is going to be a booger to reach. So I'm going to start on the back one first. Put the back bolt up through the hole and put your nut on there so we can hold this into place, and that'll make the front one a lot easier to deal with, but it will be very hard to get to this front one. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this rear one up just a little bit so that I can secure it into place just a little bit better. Now we're going to want to install the front one, and this one I believe that we are going to have to finagle around a little bit just to try and figure out how to get this nut onto the top. Took a little bit of work, but we got it. Now you want to stick your small wrench or ratchet up in here and get the head of that on that bolt. Now, as tight of quarters as it is up in here, you can probably just leave that wrench all alone and it'll take care of itself up in there while you focus on tightening this front one. Now once we have both of these secured, we're going to run and repeat the same process on the other side.
All right, I'm not going to lie, that front bolt is a little bit of a booger. An extra set of hands would probably help on that. Next, you're going to take your 6 suitcase weights and just go ahead and put those and let those rest right here on this mounting bracket. Now is when you're going to need your 2 3/4 inch bolt, a washer, and a nut. You're going to stick the bolt through the very first piece and then your washer behind that. So you're going to have your bolt, the mounting piece, and then the washer. And now your bolt is going to go through all 6 pieces of your suitcase weights. Just like that. And now you're going to put this nut onto the back of this and secure it. Now I will have to tighten that up with a wrench, but let's get to the other side and do the same thing. Now let's just tighten those up. Okay, on the back side of these, you will not be able to use a ratchet, so we will need to grab a 9/16 inch wrench. Okay, so this piece that came off from the inside of the rail that I told you that you will need to keep because we will be reutilizing it. Now it's time to put this back in. Now that is just plastic, so please don't over tighten that because you can easily strip all that plastic out. Now we'll repeat the process on the same side. That's all there is to the front of it. Okay, now we're going to want to install our stabilizer bracket. There are 2 holes up here on top of your guard plate that this just sits up on top of. The holes will match up. You will need your 2 1/2-inch lock nuts and 2 carriage bolts. Now these carriage bolts are real easy to identify as they have a square bottom on here, and what that does is aligns itself into one of these holes, and now this actually becomes the wrench for the top. So we'll go ahead and install this. Install both of your carriage bolts, make sure that they sink down all the way and flush. We'll put the nuts on the bottom, and if you've been following from the beginning, you do not have a 1/2-inch socket out yet, so go get yourself a 1/2-inch socket, and we'll go ahead and tighten these nuts up. Now one thing that I forgot to mention that will become self-evident if you do start doing this with a hot motor, you'll realize that your motor should be cool while you're working on this. Now we're going to be working on the attachment mount. Now if you do have an included trailer hitch on here of any sort, this will have to come off, so let's get to taking this piece off. Now you do want to hold on to this for future references, not for this install or anything, but just for the future. If you ever want to sell your machine, you do want to hold on to this piece. So at this point we are running short on parts, so the nuts and bolts that are going to be used are going to become more apparent on which ones you need. Now you're going to need these 1-inch black bolts right here, along with 2 more washers. We're going to take our mounting bracket and put it up here, and this will be installed right where your last towing hitch was. So this is where another set of hands would come in handy, because we will have to lift this up, and these will be going into the top hole of this mount. So go ahead and lift that up,
put a bolt in there, put a bolt in there, and hope it stays there by itself while you put these nuts on the back side. Now if you can see or feel, there is a little bit of a gap down here. So when you tighten this up, you want to be sure that this is picked all the way up when you do tighten these up. Okay, so now I do have this loosely attached to the back of the guard here. If I had another person here, I could go ahead and tighten those down, but I can't do that by myself. So we're going to work on the bottom of this. Now there's only 2 bolts left, and that will be your self-tapping bolts. These will go up underneath here. There are 2 holes under here. I don't think I can get the camera under there to show you that, but there are 2 holes under here, and these are self-tapping. So they will be a little bit hard to install because they will be tapping themselves into place. So you will need a little bit of muscle. Don't be afraid if you feel like you're stripping something out, because essentially that's what you are, is stripping that entire hole out and creating new thread patterns in there. So just go ahead and run those self-tapping bolts up in there. We got that one snugged up. Now we're going to go ahead and tighten these 2 up. Now our mounting assembly is fully installed. Now it's time to install the stabilizing brackets, and things are going to be coming together really quick right here. On the side of the motor right here, I don't know if my shadow's in the way. On the side of the frame right here, you do have this keyhole. So one end of this will go into the keyhole, slide it back, and put it up in this hole right here. Without shadows, I will try and demonstrate that again. There is a keyhole over here. You take this notched in, put it in here, slide it back, and then slide it into this hole right here. Now we're going to utilize our 2 cotter pins. Now these cotter pins are pretty self-explanatory. Now that you have your rod through this hole, just go ahead and put your cotter pin in there, and it doesn't have to be all the way in there, but you can definitely push it all the way through like that. In case you missed that one or the camera was off, we'll put the cotter pin in here. You can either go 1 click so that it's right here, or you can go ahead and push it all the way through. You can try. I'm just going to leave that one on the first one. But definitely the first notch is secure enough, and you can go again as like that one if you want to. Now we're going to be installing the latch rod, and this is going to be one piece that you will be removing and reinstalling whenever you take your bagging system on and off. So this is really just one bobby pin, hairpin, linch pin, whatever you want to call this. This is the only pin that you're going to take out to remove and install your whole bagging system. So just put that in there, put the pin in the back, and now we're ready to put our bagging system on. This next part would help to have a helping hand, or if you hold your tongue just right, this is really easy to get on here. There are 2 rods sticking out, one right here and one right here. Now the mounting hardware that was already installed on here is right here and right here. There are little, I don't know, little nipples sticking out on these rods that will be going into these little notches right here. So what we're going to do is stick this on here, and you do have to line both of these up at once. A little awkward. And once that goes on there, it's on there actually pretty easy. Now you're done. Now let's get to installing the bags. Now let me talk about the bagging system. It would seem self-evident that this piece right here would hang over this piece right here, but it's not the case. You actually have to pull this fabric back just a little bit, and this little notch is what's going to attach onto here, and it does just simply lay on it. And now that's firmly on there, and what that's doing is This little notch right here lays over the lip on the mounting system, and this whole piece right here is going to be your leverage system, so that's what causes your bag from drooping down. Now we have both of those installed. Let's close the lid. It's got a really nice seal all the way around it. There's not a rubber gasket, it's just all plastic. But as far as that having a nice seal on it, it is a nice seal. So we'll close the lid. We'll pull this down and stick it onto the retention rod right there. Now that is a very strong rubber piece, and in my opinion, that's a good thing. That's going to keep your lid from coming up. Now, whether that's not going to vibrate off. That's not going to vibrate off. So there we go. We have the top of the bagger and the bags installed. Now we'll work on running the tubes up into this bagging system. All right, now we need to install the baffle system on here. Now, as you can see, the bag is right here and it lines up right here. That leaves a lot of gap for a lot of air to come out, and that's what this baffle here is for. This baffle will go up in here as such, and that will allow a lot of the air to escape, the air that can't escape through the bags. So what you'll do is you'll just put one side of it in there, and I will admit this is a little bit of a pain to install. It takes a little bit of thumb pressure to get those knobs turned in and pushed in there. But now we have the baffle system installed. Now let's work to getting the tubing set up to come into here. Okay, so my mower is a 54-inch mower. If you have a 50-inch mower, you will have to install the included baffle that comes with your bagging system. The 54-inch already comes with this. The only thing you want to do is be sure that this is pushed all the way back. For some reason mine is bent. I'm just going to keep it that way. I must have hit something pretty hard to do that. But the 54-inch, it should already have this on here. Keep it installed just like this. Move it all the way back. If you have the 50-inch, you will have to install this. All right, now I'm going to try to install this attachment right here without having any shadows in here. That might be a little bit difficult, but I'm going to do the best I can for you guys. So we do have this pin right here. It will be going up here in front into the furthest back hole. You do have a latch right here that will be going on to this metal rod. And also back here we do have a rubber bungee strap, which will be going into an already installed strap back here. So let's get to installing this. Put the rod into the hole. Keep your lid lifted up. We'll put this latch underneath the rod. Now that's latched in there. Now we'll come back here to the rubber bungee and pull it back into position right here. And now we have our first piece installed. All right, so now we're on the home stretch of this whole thing. Now what we're going to do, you have this large end. This is going to go on to this piece right here, and the small end is going to go up into the bagging system. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll put this end up in here. Now that's got a little bit of a gap there. That's going to concern me here after a while when I do get to testing this. And the large end just simply comes down like that. We do have a rubber strap, and we'll put that over that piece right here. And what just happened is the angle of this changed and closed up this rubber seal. So I'm glad that I saw that. If that still had the gap in it right here, that would cause a lot of dust just to come right at the back of my head. So very glad to see that opened up like that. So yes, it is just as easy as that. Just a couple of tools that you will need to provide by yourself. Other than that, everything is included. Nuts, bolts, rubber bungees, everything you need to install this. You just need the 9/16, 3/8, ½ inch, and one other size. I don't remember what that was. But that's all you need to install this. It's very simple install. For me, myself, on a rating from 1 to 10 on how easy this was, personally, I would give it a 2. If you've never touched a wrench in your life, I would probably give this a 4 and recommend a helping hand. If you got any kind of automotive, engineering, any kind of capabilities like that, this is a very easy setup. I like the way it's installed. It is installed very securely. As of right now, I'm not afraid of anything falling off. Everything's seeming that secure. The bags are very easy to come on and off. I do like that. The hood for the bagging system, I do like that it has that very strong strap on there so that it holds the lid down very tight. The baffle system, that's what I really like about it, is the baffle system. That way the bags are not the only thing that is releasing air, because you do need airflow in order for all of those clippings to go into the bags. So the baffle system that allows all that extra air to come out the side is an excellent idea. So you're going to allow all of those clippings to get in there. It's just a better design than having no baffle. Man, other than that, the one pin on the back, like I said earlier, it's a, I don't remember the name of that part, but it's just one pin sticking out the back. You take that pin off and the whole thing comes apart. So if I didn't want to use this, all I got to do is take this bottom piece off right here, which is one bungee, and then I spin it out of the way and it comes off. Pull one cotter pin in the back and the whole bag comes off. But overall, it adds quite a bit of length to your mower. So if you are used to installing this in your garage and you're going to keep this bagging system on there, keep in mind that this is going to take up quite a bit more room in your garage. The weights on the front, I am very glad to see that they installed weights. Without weights, your mower is not going to run properly and you're not going to have a fun time bagging leaves. So that's really all I got to say about that. I hope that this installation video helped every one of you out. If you would, if you're following along and I've went too fast, please go back, watch the video, hit the pause button, do what I did, hit the play button, keep right on going through. Otherwise, I've got a full list, I got a full playlist of everything on the Toro timecutter. If you guys want to, anything you want to know about this mower, just go back to that playlist and look up anything you want to know about this. Oil changing spark plugs. No, I haven't done that yet. Sharpening the blades, taking the deck off, changing the oil, everything about the My Ride, just everything you want to know about this mower, I've got a playlist on it. So if this video helped you out in any way, guys, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. I gotta go bag some leaves. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I just dream of fishing while I'm going through my workday. I listen to my boss, though he's driving me berserk. Damn it, I can't take much more because my brain is really hurting. And now the bank is always calling and I don't know what to do. And I haven't bought a crankbait since like 1992. But the bass are out there schooling.